Right, just brewed a new cup of tea. I am rocking my coronavirus hairstyle because I haven't had time to get a haircut. Which Charlie can do it here, but just hasn't done it yet. So this video is about all the projects again. We get a lot of work done. We've got, I'll read off an idiot sheet because I can never remember what I put in these things. The these door seals get here, we get some of that fitted. One of the door seals was wrong. The right hand front upper was wrong, so that's got to go back. 350 custom, we get a lot of stuff done with fasteners and extra hydroblasting and get that, a few other bits and pieces done with that as well. The 350 F, the electrics are all sorted and we know what direction we're going with it as well, and a bit on that. The whippersnipper gave up, or the weed whacker. Bought it new 15 years ago, never missed a beat, then it just stopped, and the repair's very obvious, very easy to do. Felt a bit like a lot of these guys with small two-strokes. Not really my bag, but had a look at that while I was at it. And of course, little Suzuki, with all those parts ordered, we got one. And we fit that. So, hope you enjoy. Unboxing videos. See what Santa Claus has bought. The first one is a helmet, because my other helmet was 26 years old and therefore not good. Let's look at this one. This was dear too. Between these two boxes, 1400 bucks or something. A lot of money. I never normally spend that much, but got a great tax return because I paid far too much tax. Gave some to the kids and Suzuki and kept some for myself. Let's have a look at this. It's a weird box. Some reading material and stickers. Nowhere else to put them. Oh cool, I really need some of this. I'm expecting this to be pretty good. But I'm expecting it to bloody well fit too. Let's have a look. I always liked RA helmets. There's all sorts of brands. There's Nolan, there's AGB, there's all sorts of stuff. But this one looks really, really good. That's nice. Extra large because I've got a massive head. And it even comes with a touch-up lacquer, whatever the hell that is. Yes, it does. Leave the fucking top off. It makes messier hair though. That's good. Whoa. That's beautiful, isn't it? You guys like it? Let's have a look at this box. Gotta be careful I don't cut into this too deeply. I'm just going to put my finger next to the blade and just slice along the very, very top. Then we have rubbery stuff for XC Falcons. And I've got a look at all these rubbers. There's heaps of them here. Hang on, let's have a look. Right, what is that? Oh, that's good. It comes with these, so that's the top. So that's lower. So what have we got here? We got front lower, left front lower, right front lower. That's those two. And these are the upper ones. These are the really substantial ones, I think, aren't they? X8XC right hand upper. So these should have these should have the pinch weld stuck in them. Yes, they have. Oh, I see. That makes perfect sense. Oh, they're good. Excellent. All right. So we can put those in, or at least I hope we can. I've still got to get the seatbelts re-webbed. This was dear as poison, this stuff. Really, really expensive. Okay, good. That's a lot of door seals. Crazy, but we got it all. Time to drag this dusty XC out. It's covered in green dust from the Starlet. Look at it, it's disgusting. But we need to get these door seals on, have a bit of a look around, and see where we're at. So let's reacquaint ourselves with the XC. Well, I feel the time is upon us to have a look at our rather lovely and dirty XC. With shut lines, I haven't done very well. If you remember last time, we put the door cards in, and that's as far as we got. We didn't put the one on the driver's side. The back, same sort of thing. I've got to get new sort of escutcheons for those, and it's all looking pretty good. That seat's got to come out again because I've got to put the insulation panel behind it. But it is looking rather lovely. So what we're going to be able to do now is take these off, which are kind of stuck, and put the door seals on. That's something I've been looking forward to doing. And the ones around the doors themselves, I'm not really sure how they fit. I don't know. How do they go? Oh, they go around the door. That's how out of touch I am. I can tell you all about a Suzuki, but I can't tell you about this now because I've forgotten. Paint still looks good. Still have to buff the boot lid, or colour sand and buff it. And Grant Wickham, bless him, has given us this trim. Has donated the trim for along the boot. I got that crooked, but that'll cover. That's all right. I'm not worried about that. The other side's fine. The rear bumper isn't great. It's a factory dual exhaust one. It's just going to have to do for now. I need to get the thing. I think the gap under there is different from, yes it is, a little bit under there. And I screwed up. That's just a bit of sealer there, but there's that divot there. I'm going to have to redo that. Looks like crap. We've got the obligatory Kohler Motors Sick Planet sticker, and I've got one that I'm going to go and get now to go on the car as well. Not a big one for stickers on cars, but this one has to go on. Of course, it's the Manual Gearbox Preservation Society. It's got a top loader pattern on. You can get these in different ones. My brother bought this for me. It's from England. Most cars now are automatic, and we're quite kind of proud that we've got manual cars. I think it's kind of prudent to look at these door seals. I'm going to start with left-hand front. Just because the rear ones, I've got XB ones. I'm not sure they're right. They should be. Got to get rid of some of this Starly dust that's on it. All that overspray dust when I painted the car. Of course, the XC stayed here. And it's just made a mess. It's got all over everything. So I've got to just wipe it all down. And I've got a couple of chips in this, a couple of battle scars, because the car's sort of not being used as much, or it's been parked and it's been sort of pushed around a bit. This is the left front lower, and I've got no idea. Are they symmetrical? Which way do these go? Bugger. Oh, I think that goes like that. Is that right? That looks like it spaces into there. Yeah, it does. Just go for broke, eh? Feed this around. I'm just going to do a dummy sort of run around it to see where it ends up. Yep, that's fine. And we can just push those in, I think. The clip's actually hard to get in, so let's have a go at the top one. So left hand front is 2065, which is, yep, that's the one. Start at one end, work towards the other. I'll take the tape off later. There's sticky tape there. I imagine Is that the front or the back? That's the front, that's the back there. Alright then. And there's the sticky goo. Hang on, that's got one plug in it. They've both got one each in them. So I don't know which. Are they symmetrical? No, they're not. So the longer one's obviously going to be for this. And the shorter one has the kick trim there. So that's going to be for this side here. So I would think it's going to go in like that. And then that's going to come up and go into the pinch weld's going to sit on top. But even the pinch weld's difficult to get in over that lip. Oh no, that's it. I've got to put the mirror mat, the what do you call it? Things there, the trims on the inside. I don't know where they are. Have a look at those in a minute. So tip it. That goes on first. Yeah, that goes on first. So. They don't even like to go in. They're not very good fit. They're not very well fitting. I'll say that right from the get-go. And then that has to be glued. I'll knock that a bit further in a minute. I just want to make sure I get the spacing all right. Let's start putting that up in there. I think that's right. That's a little Volvo tool that I was talking about, the bone. Bugger it. It's sort of... I've got to put the B-pillar trims on, I haven't got those. Well, I haven't painted them yet, I'm going to have to paint them, but I was doing that after the seat belts. I need the seat belts re-webbed. But this car is a prick for fighting me. It really does. It fights me every bit of the way. But at least if I can always pull this off and put it back on. But that looks to be about right there. I wonder if I can just thread that under there without taking the kick trim off. No, I can't. So we're taking the kick trim off again, which is no biggie. So it seems to be right there. And then that wedge goes in back in there. It's some of this stuff that I'm a bit worried about. Just because it's going to have a dirty great kink in it. I thought it would have had a thing manufactured into it, like a little corner piece. Giving up on the door seals because one of them is the wrong one. The one for the driver's door is actually a left-hand one that's packaged wrong. Bit of cleaning up to do here. That's just old adhesive. I'm not worried about that. There's a little escutcheon that goes around the mirror thing. These have a tendency to disappear back into the door, and so starting them can be something of an issue. I might just get some needle nose pliers and pull bits of foam out just so I can reach it a little bit better and see exactly where to cut. I've got the plastic on. These clips I bought, they do break, they're quite brittle, and it's just a matter of locating them properly. There's only two up there. Yeah, they're just difficult to get on. A lot of this reproduction stuff isn't very good quality at all. And yeah, you put a bit of it on and you see a little piece of plastic fall out from under the door. There's something wrong there. Let's get down and have a look. Fortunately, I've got quite a few spares. There it is there. It's a bit further up. That's it. That feels a lot better. These were second-hand cards. They were Fairlane ones that Jason reworked to fit the Fairmont. So I'm just going to pick away. Fortunately, the little trim is quite wide. that goes around this thing. So I'll be cutting more vinyl off. It's hard trying to decide how much to cut off when you get one crack at it, then you've ruined the door. So, you know, fortunately it does have quite a wide shoulder. So when it's on, you don't see any of the damage that you've done. But yeah, getting it on is a bastard. I'm just going to take a bit of that off. Actually, I'm going to cut it a bit lower. Like that. And I think I'm almost right. But they're very heavily padded door trims, these ones. And they were like that from factory. None of the Falcon and Fairmont didn't have it like that. It was only the GXL that did. It's supposed to add to its, I guess, luxury feel. But yeah, you don't want to go too heavy on it. Right, well, this was reasonably horrendous. Got these door seals in. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go the other side. It's probably easy to see. I've got to pack up, it's dark. Right, the right hand upper was packaged incorrectly. I've got two left hand ones. Got the door card on. It looks pretty good. Nightmare to get on. I've just got to get this dried adhesive, this dirty adhesive out of there. Put the mirrors on, the remote mirror. Still got to fix that power window switch. But I know the wiring works well. So I've got all that ready to go. The upper pinch weld, you can see there's a bit of gathering at the back. I can fix that, but I can't be bothered today. And those B-pillar trims, I've got to get those seat belts rewebbed, and I can't remember what I've done with them. I think they're in the boot. It's all looking fairly good, but at least that door card's on. I've got to get some switches there for those things for the remote, what do you call it, the interior light. So one chap asked me about who my brother got to recover the wheel, and it was Blackwoods. It was called Blackwoods, and he worked in Burwood, so wherever they are, I'll find out. So you know, it's getting there slowly. I just find it difficult in some cases to work on because this car has fought me every single step of the way. That was easy. This went together like Lego, the XW. XC is a different ball game altogether. It's been a real pain in the neck. And it's very easy to lose motivation with it. Even though now the motivation's kind of coming back because it's very, very close. And it does look pretty darn good. I might get some help with the front guards just to get it done. Grant Wickham has been really, really helpful. He's given me that XB GT trim for the back, or the GXL trim for the back, sorry. And he's also, I think, found someone to do the headlight silvering. I've got one name, but he never answers his phone. So, yeah, it's not far. It really isn't far. It's just getting motivated to do it. I do find this car very difficult. Just because a lot of parts in it are from different cars that have worn in a different way. So the dash was difficult because that was out of a Fairlane. And the dashes are very, very brittle. The door trims, or the, what do you call it, the door cards, are off a ZH Fairlane 500. The armrests are off something different. And just lining them up to get these holes to put them on is a nightmare, you know, because they're all sort of warped in different ways. You'd think they'd all be the same, and they're not. And even the reproduction parts don't fit these as well as they do in XWs and XYs, because they're still kind of in their infancy in some ways. But that being said, it's a beautiful car. It's just a matter of finishing it. So yeah, I've got to get those door seals for this one. And I've got to bleed the brakes. I haven't done them yet. And you can just see how much of a dusty old mess it is in there. Hang on, I've got stuff on the bottom. I don't want it to slide off. You know, that's what happens when you paint a Starley. That'll all wash off. We'll give it a nice bath. And return it to its beautiful self. But not far now. It's not long. Still got a lot of work to do. Look at that shut line at the back. It looks terrible. I gotta say, I'm ashamed. I should have finished this by now, and not just that. It's a lot of people that give their eye teeth for a car like this, and I've sort of mucked around and not done too well, and that thing looks grotty as. I need to start it, so I think the next time we pull this out, we're going to give it a good start and good clean, and try and sort those shut lines out and get the door trims or the door seals finished, and then get into the brakes. But it's ridiculous it's gone on this long. Hence the reason I'm saying I'm ashamed. But I don't know, I've kind of got the XD and the XW that I drove around. You know, I'd like to be driving this, but I haven't really made a solid effort to get it finished in any great hurry. And of course there's motorcycles as well, and and that 750, I've got to get that out too. So yeah, once I've got it to the point where the brakes are bled, which is a nothing job, and put a tail shaft in, the car's drivable, and so it's even got fuel in the tank, like it's all good. And so I'll pull it out, put the XW there, because that's a really difficult place to get to, it's a pain. And I'll put the XC back here where I can get to it to finish it. That's the best option, because if it's in the way, I'll do it, but if it's tucked out the way, I won't. Right, we've bagged and tagged bolts and other types of fasteners. This is the mundane part of any type of vehicle restoration. The kind of thing that's really horrible to have to do, but you're always glad you did. You know, because we want our engine to look nice like this one, and all the fasteners have been replated. So I'll put the tripod on, I'll put this camera on a tripod and we'll make a start. Right, so bang for your buck wise, this is one of the best things you can do. When you buy Honda parts, such as fasteners, they come individually bagged. I bought these for the cam box on the restoration bike, forgetting that we don't want JIS on the cam box, we want hex. So I've got some spares. They were actually really cheap, through a supplier in England, which I don't know why they were cheap, but you're probably better using Phillips head. There is another supplier there that does, you know, supply bolts that look like, or fasteners that look like JIS, but they're actually Phillips head. So we've bagged and tagged. That was the cam box, and it's a grotty old bag, it's gross and all the rest of it. So having done that, the fasteners I've just rubbed, or I've just rinsed in thinner and wiped them off. The best thing to do with stuff like this is to hydroblast again. Because of the restrictions and the cost of freight and this sort of stuff, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to send them off to be done. You'll also find that if they're covered in oil, and you know, you wipe the oil off, you'll find they're pristine underneath, where these aren't. They've been dry. So it's, yeah, how it's going to be. I don't know how good they're going to be. But it's one of these jobs which, you know, we have to sort of arrange the bolts so we know what quantities we've got of each one, because when we get them back, they're all going to be loose. And we need to be able to put them into some sort of order. Interesting, when you get Honda bolts, this is an unclean one, you'll see the thread looks pretty knackered on that, but that is actually the aluminium part of the thread that's pulled out of one of the casings. I don't know which one, I just found that. So I'm going to sort these, and then we write it down, and then when we get the bolts all back, we know what goes where. Okay, so once we've established that, let's write it down. So this is the cam box, so we've got, you know, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 9 times 6 mil. By 27. And they're hex. And then we're just doing the same with all this other stuff, and then we empty the next bag and wash them out. I've just got to put these somewhere, just a moment. So once we've written all of those down, we'll just chuck them in a container. And we're going to sort of string them all with a bit of copper wire. that came out. Not sure what that is, but that can be a random one. I'm not plating the exhaust studs. I don't see the point. The other thing to keep in mind is some of what you're bagging is going to be absolute rubbish. For example, that sprocket isn't something I'm going to use, but I always hang on to parts until I get replacements just to make sure they all marry up. And of course, you know, that's rooted. I wouldn't even bother with that and put new ones on, or suitable second hand, but I'd soon put new ones on so we can wash all them out. Now, what you can also do with these is stick them in what's it called? Vinegar, white vinegar and water, and freshen them up that way. But again, it's not going to be the shiniest thing in the world because it's rusted. There'll be a bit of pitting on there, but it will give them some protection. The other thing is, because motorcycles are very dangerous vehicles, we want to make sure that everything's heat treated. There is a risk of hydrogen embrittlement with this process, and so that means after the treatment they're put into a heating thing at 300 odd degrees or whatever it is, and that removes the stress out of the metal that's brought about by the, I think it's the hydrochloric acid bath, I'm not really sure. But there's lots of stuff in here that I'm going to get through. It just means as we get them, that's the breather cover, I'm just going to rinse them off. This is thinner, it gets rid of the dirt well, the grease, sorry, well. You'll find that the hydrochloric acid that they use won't get rid of paint. Thinner will, most of the time. Most paints that people use are just enamel rattle cans, and that'll strip that off nicely. But the hydrochloric acid is not good with paint, but it's good with grease, and it's also good with rust. If you wash them in vinegar, it's good with rust, but it won't remove the grease. So, you know, I'm just going to do this quickly because it's not a fun job. I don't actually enjoy doing it. But, you know, the rewards speak for themselves. There's nothing better than getting all this stuff back and it looks mint. If you look at particularly things like the case bolts, what's that, the lower case, they're all grimy and grotty. It remains to be seen how well they come back because they're sort of rusty at the top. But we'll find out when we get it back. Warner's actually stopped doing a lot of the blokes like me because we would just originally take in, I remember taking in a bucket that had probably 6 times that in it, or more, probably 8 times that, and little clips and everything, and it was $50, which I thought was a steal. But they stopped doing it because they spend all their time, their labour time, hanging and wiring up the work, where they sent me off to another guy and I really didn't like him. You know, he was very expensive and his work was the same because he was using Warners anyway. Right, time to start stringing them. Got something, I always like to put something heavy at the bottom, like obviously the gear shift or a large bolt or something like that. They're a bit of a pain. We don't want to lose anything here. We're going to make each run about 600 long. Hang on. I was going to twist it around, and in twisting it around, just make sure that it won't come off. I always have them so that the head of the bolt is facing up, so they sort of hang like that. So I'm just going to string the rest of these up. The longer ones are actually a lot easier to do by just sort of sticking them on like that. And, you know, it's just fiddly. It's not a pleasant job, but they really appreciate it when you do it. Is that going to come out? No, that's all right. So the really bad ones are the smaller the fastener, the more fiddly it is. And that's all right. So I'm just going to continue with that. And I bought 3 rolls. They're 7.7 meters each. Don't get sucked into thinking that 7.7 is a lot. 7.7 is a lot. You'll use up a good deal of the wire. We'll just see what we've got left. We've got that to hang. You know, and who knows, we might have some left or we might not. If we do, I might just grab a whole lot of, or a bunch of the Toyota 6mm bolts. Anything Japanese, you know, 6 and 8mm fasteners are the staple of the whole thing. Right, we've got all our plating back in here. It's all still on its, stringed up on its wire. And you can see it looks infinitely better than it did. The issue is occasionally going to find a part that's a little bit dull, and that would be because there was surface rust on it and therefore a little bit of pitting. So I'm going to pull all this stuff out, sort it out and stick it in bags. Rightio, so, oh, I've got to get a new tee. Right, so I've got everything in bags. We've got a foot peg mount and, do you mind? We're making milkshakes. Everything's bagged up now, sorted. It didn't take too long. A whole bunch of general 6mm stuff from the Toyota. Had some copper wire left over, just wrapped them up and sent them. Very, very quick to do. And of course some odds and ends that are surplus to our needs. But yeah, everything's sort of bagged and labelled. These came out beautifully. Some of them are a little bit affected by rust and corrosion and that sort of stuff. But on the whole, it's all looking totally fantastic. Given what we started with was just such a mess. Look at those case bolts. They're like brand new. You'd never pick it from the way they came out. So that's very, very good. CB350 electrics, I think we're pretty much done now. Thanks to a couple of Toyota Starlet parts. We don't have the oil or neutral because there's no engine in it at the moment. Toyota Starlet horn. Indicators are working. The only problem I've got is I haven't got covers on those at the moment. This relay is a Toyota Starlet one. I've had to use that one in there, that blue electronic one, because the original bimetallic one has failed. I'm not going to buy another one. The only difference, or the only problem, sorry, is with these globes, some of these are 10 watts and some of them are 3, and it clicks too fast. And the other issue, I'd leave those in there because they don't fit. So either I'm going to change those light fittings out, which they're just aftermarket Suzuki ones, but there's not much else I can do. So in reference to the rest of it, we've got a taillight that's working quite well, and obviously the headlight, and we've got low and high, which is working well there. I've also got the brake light working. So I'm just going to grab this with pliers and hopefully you can see down the back. Hang on a second. As I bridge this, this is for the hydraulic switch. And you can see the brake light's nice and bright. So that's all working. So the only thing I need to check, there's one thing I'm not happy with. I can't hear the starter solenoid clicking. So I know it's getting power there from the switch, but I don't know what's going on here. Probably, yeah, no, it's getting both of those. Those two wires there will control the solenoid, so that could well be faulty. I'm not sure. But if it is, we'll just pop a new one in. And I obviously can't check the charging side of it. But aside from that, I'm pretty happy. Lawn care. I still use this 1970 something Victor lawnmower. I had a 75, I think this is about a 77. It's the first with the plastic carby. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Sigma. And time to go into paradise and do some work. Birds are out. Dog poo everywhere, gotta clean that up. Alright. Now, where are we? Okay. Gotta fix this whippersnipper, which is a pain because I don't want to. I guess I better clean the bench up and make a start. Got a little whippersnipper. Just gotta watch I don't hit the motorbike. I should do it. We've got a problem is the priming bulb isn't working. And I've got no expertise in these things, but I'm sort of hoping or anticipating there won't be too much of a problem doing it. What is that, a Torx bit or something? That's weird. This I paid very little money for. I think it was $120 when it was new, about 15 years ago, and it's always given good service. But now it don't go. Now I've got to figure out why I'm not used to using these tools. I think the whole carburetor comes off with these, doesn't it? How's the air filter come off? Buggered if I know. And hope for the best. I've got to ascertain what sort of carburetor it is because, yeah, that's the self-tappers holding on. Because there's different types. that are available. And what I'm sort of hoping to get is... God, that's filthy. Oh, hang on. What's the story with that? Is that the reason it doesn't go? Should probably clean this, shouldn't I? Right. As long as that crap doesn't get into the engine, I'm alright. I'll just take the cable off, the throttle cable. That's easy enough. Ah, the hose is knackered. Is that what's wrong with it? Yeah. I think that's why it wouldn't prime, because it wasn't holding a thing in there. Right, and that primer bulb wasn't working, but that could have been because... Okay, maybe it's this one. It is too. That's the reason it wasn't working. Yeah, the line was split. Alright, we're going to figure that bit out. So we'll try this. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I have no idea. Did it come off? Oh, there's another bolt up here. It was only cheap, yeah, it was very cheap, one of the cheapest ones, because I've had a history of getting old. You've got to be kidding, the crankcase, you're kidding. Look at that, the crankcase is part of the plastic moulded housing. You've got to be joking, look at that. That's how you know it's a quality bit of kit, but in its defence, it's never failed. That's crazy, I've never seen that. Years ago, when I was at Bunnings, the home light blowers were walking out the door. They were cheap. And all the Jim's mowing guys were getting them. And they reckon in some cases they were outlasting the Husqvarna ones, which I find hard to believe, but they said it. Christ, what am I going to do with this thing? How am I going to get that bloody thing out? It's going to be tricky. I'm going to have to fiddle and fart around with this and remove that dead pillar. So what's happened is this thing's actually broken off from there. Oh, there. Hang on. I had no bloody idea. Did that go in there? Is that actually part of the fuel tank? There's just holes there now. One will be a fuel return. I might have to try and get another fuel tank. Do I? What do I do? I don't know. But that's all the problem was. One of these sucks and one blows. That blows. That sucks. So that's where that was connected to. Have I got something? It's only a very small orifice. I wonder if... I don't know if I've got anything small enough to join that to. I'm going to buy another one if I can avoid it. I'm going to look on eBay, see what I can find. Still waiting on all these parts to come. But I'm running out of stuff to do. I've got another load of stuff to go to the Hydro Blaster. I can't even reach at the moment. Hang on. Got too much stuff in here. It's ridiculous. Right, so this is the final lot for the Hydro Blaster. I've got both alternator covers and the clutch cover, rock cover, or cam box, whatever you want to call it, cylinder head, breather, and some of those little cap things. So that's what I need to do. I've got everything stripped now. That's the one off our restoration one. That's the one off our junker motor. And they'll come back looking fine. That frame over there looks stupid. This motorbike frame here. I might get that down, pull some bits off it and send it off to Sam at Tech Code. I'm not sure if he's working at the moment. I need to call up tomorrow. Today's Sunday. And I want to get that done just so I can put it in a nice area. So I'm going to pull this down again. It looks like crap. I just thought I could leave it here and just sort of think about it. And I've thought about it and I really don't want it there. So, bench space is too valuable here. There's a couple of things. Normally when you're building something up, you would not powder coat or paint or anything until you finish doing the mock-up. So in other words, we're going to have a different seat. We've got that bridge where the rear mudguard goes that fits under the seat. All this sort of stuff. But I really do want to use a stock frame. I've made my mind up with that. It has to have a stock frame. Just wondering how to get these forks out. And so, come hell or high water, that's what I want to do. I have to pull this out. Looks to me like they've taken everything out of it. That looks like a foot peg bolt. I've got one of those. It is too. That's another foot peg bolt. That actually looks a bit longer. Oh, there's one that goes. Oh, what's this one here? I wonder if I can use this. I need a swing arm and a front, or the engine mount one that goes in here. That one there. Right, so the long and short of it is that this stuff came from a guy called Barry in Perth, or in Western Australia somewhere. I think it's Perth. And he ended up, I think he's got a couple of health issues where he wasn't able to continue with his 350 stuff. So he sold a lot of it to a chap called Liam in Melbourne. And I've been in touch with him trying to get a few parts. That's a flying piece. And yeah, I've got the original things there, which is good. So there's a few things I need to do. I've been in touch with him to try and get some parts. I've asked for quite a lot of parts, mind you. They've taken the races out of there, which is cool. It's got that one there. But all that will be replaced. I'll put the all balls one in. Yeah, so all of the races are being taken out. That's cool. I'll just take the swing arm off. So the swingy arm has been debushed and de-nippled, has it? Has it got the nipple that's still on it? I think these normally had a grease nipple somewhere, didn't they? It's got the bolt for the swing arm stay there. Or the rear brake stay. That's cool. So these two bits I'll get powder coated and then we can set it on the bench and make it look really, really pretty. I've got a centre stand, I've got everything for it. Well, I've got a lot of stuff for it. Other hydroblasting stuff. I've sent this is busted, which is a real shame. Didn't know about that. I might have to get another cover. That's for the project bike, that's the restoration bike. Got the sumps and the oil filters and all sorts of stuff. So what I want to do, and there's the head and cam box for the restoration bike and a few miscellaneous bits. What I'm going to do, I clear coated these benches, they're quite nice. I want to take all that muck off and set that nice powder coated frame up here. Because I can reach around it to get tools and stuff like that. But this is where I want to put it. It's just going to look so much better with an engine sitting in it. And we can just build it up from there. Right, as far as the Suzuki's concerned, still waiting on Cruise and Image because I can't put the brakes together obviously until I've got those components from them. So that means overhauling the master cylinder, getting the brake light switch on, and then the tank's still not on properly because I want to be able to wire up the brake light switch. Then I'll connect the fuel lines, fill it with juice, and then test out this little dodgy regulator thing I've put in. The only part that's rocked up for it so far is this little Kickstarter rubber. So we'll put that on now, The old hairspray. This isn't even one that I would know fits or not, but it was very cheap. It was $6. And it's a real squeeze, but it's going on. And that will set in exactly the right spot and will look fine. So that finishes that off. So I found a guy in Melbourne who's got a CB500 headlight shell, which will do for now. It's the right width and it's also got the cutouts for the two cables. That abomination up there, that one, is too, you can't actually fit it past the cables. It gets in the way. So what that means is, I don't know if Andy sent the other one surface or what, it doesn't matter much, because that means I can just rob the light out of the 350. Come road with the time, I can just take that out, plug it in with the same connectors, and then take it off that. When I get the right one, then put it back in here. The 350, I've ordered the smaller globes, the slightly shorter 12 volt ones. Then those covers will go on. They're Suzuki ones, but I can't do anything about it at the moment. I'm not going to buy other Honda ones yet. A couple of people were concerned I was going to cut this. I mentioned it because they can be cut and then welded to maintain that bead, but I wouldn't dare cut that. It's in beautiful condition. I've used the other taillight for now, just because it's easier. I still think it's a bit too heavy set, but it doesn't matter much. It can stay there. And I'll use the other one on the other bike that I'm doing. Speaking of which, that frame is gone. It's at the powder coater. I'm not going to modify the frame. I'm using a stock frame, and over there is all of the hydroblasting stuff that I had done before. Which brings us to this lot, which was in the tub a few minutes ago in the video, but it was the other day. John's got it done. This is the stuff out of the trashed engine, so the cam box looks beautiful. Rocker box, I don't know what you want to call it, rock cover. When I get the bores back for that engine, then I can stick it straight back in the 350 restoration bike, and this head will go off to be have the fins repaired. Someone's cut that in there, I don't know why, and they need to be repaired there as well. So I'll get them done professionally. That head's turned out great. I decided to use this. It wasn't quite as good nick as the spare one we've got, but then the other one spooked me a bit because the guide came out of it. Alternator covers, one look better than the other. They both look uniform now. They're beautiful. So we're going to go with that. That's the clutch cover, which was all corroded. That'll polish up beautifully. There's nothing wrong with that. So really, really happy with the quality of his work. It's wonderful. Triple tree off the project bike. I've just thrown a tiny bit of rattle can clear on that. This is cast iron, this bit. I'm going to leave it cleared. I'm not going to paint that. I think it looks great in its raw state. It looks absolutely beautiful. So I'll give it another coat, obviously, and you know, things like dipstick. And how much was that like? 85 bucks. I think I paid for that. So really, really, really happy with it. So that'll go into a box off to the guy who's boring that. When that comes back, it should be home. It should be back reasonably soon. And of course, I found another couple of rolls of this copper hanging in a different spot in the garage, so I've got an abundant supply of that as well. So until the rest of these bits get here, there's not much more I can do. So really, on that note, I think that's about it for this one. So, hope you enjoyed this. Take good care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. What do you reckon? Shit.
Jesus.